Hey, don't go in the basement. The boogans are down there. Or at least a few dust bunnies. For number 8, the basement is definitely a no-go zone, but of course no one listens to me, no matter how loud I shout at my screen. This is ML Miller Fright's Best in Horror Countdown, 2024 through 2025. At number 8 is Heretic. It was released on November 8th, 2024, and is streaming on HBO MAX from A24 Films. It's directed and written by Scott Beck and Bryan Woods. A pair of young Mormon girls, Sister Barnes, played by Sophie Thatcher, and Sister Paxton, played by Chloe East, go door to door to spread the word of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and arrive at the doorstep of Mr. Reed, played by Hugh Grant. Reed invites the two missionaries into his home, as it is rainy outside, promising them that his wife is in the kitchen, as the girls are not allowed to enter the home without a woman present. But once inside, the two girls find out they are locked in with a madman who will test the belief in their religion to its very core. Heretic is an outstanding example of smart horror. It's written in such a way that it both challenges and stimulates the mind. It's a film that feels as if a lot of work was put into the entire movie-making process from screenplay to production. Filmmakers Scott Beck and Bryan Woods, who are also responsible for the A Quiet Place series, 65, and Haunt, really know their scares and put a lot of thought into those scares as well. The biggest compliment I can give Heretic is that it feels like a theology class by that one cool teacher in high school or college who dared to teach in a meaningful or imaginative way that really seals what they are teaching into the class's noggins. Much of Heretic consists of 3 people talking with one another about abstract concepts. It's almost 80 to 90% dialogue, but because it's being presented in an interesting and pressurized way, every word feels electric, emotional, and memorable. While religion is the centerpiece of the film, they honestly could have been talking about cooking or how to put together a clock, and if presented in the same stimulating way, it's going to be something you won't forget. Heretic serves as a course in religious history, presenting its point pretty darn clearly from the beginning, and then elaborating on that point all the way through. All set to a tantalizing game of cat and mouse, or mice to be more accurate. The point Heretic is making is that everything is derivative. While Grant's Mr. Reed is trying to study religion and has come to an ultimate conclusion, the real point of it all is that all religions seem to steal from beliefs before it. And in a broader sense, all ideas are formed as derivations of previous ones. Take this movie, for example. Basically, if you're boiling it down to its basic plot elements, Heretic is Saw meets Barbarian meets the Poughkeepsie Tapes. The scene where Reed lures the 2 young girls into his home and has a seemingly innocent conversation with them is torn straight from one of the most memorable moments of the Poughkeepsie Tapes. The fact that the simple home is only the beginning of the horrors that occur far below the surface is straight from the cavernous plot of Barbarian. And the moralistic choices Reed forces these 2 girls to make are simply a derivation of John Kramer, aka Jigsaw's philosophy from the Saw series. So while Heretic might feel fresh and new, it's only a sampling of ideas from previous films. And I think that's intentional, as that's the point Reed is trying to communicate about religion with his various references to the Monopoly game and the song The Air That I Breathe by the Hollies. But the thing that makes this film so good is that it presents the thesis of there being no original ideas in such a compelling and terrifying way. I'm sure Heretic might be a film that will anger those who are religious, as it takes a look at beliefs from a bit of a distance and sort of lumps them all together into one category. But also, just as the film presents this compelling argument from a talented actor like Grant, It also makes the two girls not too shabby either in the debate department, as they're smart enough to counter a lot of what Reed has to say with logic, their understanding of their own core beliefs, and most importantly, beliefs that will stay within the confines of their own characters. While Reed's experiment in debate falters a bit as the story goes on, the film smartly addresses the weaknesses in his philosophy through these bright-eyed young women who, even when the script wobbles a bit, notices these less supported bits and throws them into the argument as well. It really is a masterclass in how to tell a solid story and support it through action, character, and succinct dialogue, all based on a solid thesis. The other thing I love about Heretic is that it never tries to go and debate the age-old topic of, does God exist? It focuses more on the human condition of belief and what that means to us, once again thinking about the gray matter in between, rather than focusing on the existence of God and the other guy.
Could it be Satan?
That's just a rather boring argument that's been done time and time again. Out of all the religions dissected, the girls being Mormon and the fact that Reed wants to make them doubt their own beliefs, Mormons are most likely going to be offended the most here at Heretic. I must admit, my Mormon knowledge comes from the HBO series Big Love with Bill Paxton.
You stewed, buttwad!
And those old Latter-day Saints commercials.
Who broke my window?
Telling the truth isn't gonna be easy. Mr. Robertson,
What a horrible mess!
I broke your window with my ball.
You?
And I've come to confess.
You knew I'd be angry.
Yes.
Aren't you afraid?
Yes.
You'll have to pay for this mess you've made, but I'm proud of you, child, for you have displayed honor. The stuff from which heroes are made.
I told the truth.
But again, it just shows how much research was put into making the script accurate and solid, yet not entirely damning of religion. In the end, the film's finale could be read as supportive of faith. Then again, it could be seen as quite a downer of an end if looked at in another way. Like the rest of the film that dissects one's beliefs down to its basic elements, the ending can be what you want it to be and makes it one of the more memorable ones I've encountered in quite a while. None of the arguments in Heretic would hold up or be effective if the acting was shit. Hugh Grant, who seemed to have fallen off the face of the earth lately, reappears in Heretic with an astoundingly meaty role. He uses the typical aw shucks Hugh Grant charm to lure these kids in and then reveals quite a devious side without ever hamming it up. He offers up his hypothesis about religion confidently and sincerely, and even when things escalate in the climax, never loses his dignity or conviction. It's an impressively strong role that I believe few could pull off, but the baggage Grant carries with him from his long career in film only benefits him, where he is definitely playing against type. The other two strong components in this movie are Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, who coincidentally both grew up as Mormons in real life and represent distinct aspects of that religion very well. Thatcher's sister Barnes didn't grow up with the religion, so her connection doesn't run as deep as East's Paxton, which most likely is a nod to Big Love's Bill Paxton.
How about a nice, greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray?
But both seem to view their faith with conviction despite their origins. We really get to know the two characters in the opening monologue, as these two gals talk about sex in the most innocent of ways. Honestly, I've seen attempts to make the audience fall in love with lead characters before, but the way these gals talk about, and more succinctly, dance around the subject of sex without swearing or using foul language was absolutely charming beyond belief. I could watch these two talk about anything in this way simply by the way these two girls represented their distinct characters through thoughtful dialogue and excellent characterization. Both Thatcher and East deliver star-making performances here, and with Thatcher starring in next year's Companion from the maniacs who brought you Barbarian, it seems one of them is already on her way. Heretic is not going to be for the people who don't go to movies to think. This is not a movie that you can watch and then put away and think about something else. It's something that should stimulate debate and dialogue, as the film remains to be compelling and completely laden with tension despite the fact that it's so dialogue heavy. The scares have been seen before, but because the subject matter being dissected is done so in such a fascinating way, it makes the watch all the more interesting and fresh. I can't recommend this thought-provoking film enough. From the characters playing their parts to the audience watching, Heretic is a movie that will challenge beliefs. In this day and age of contagious black and white thinking, that's a good and important thing. You should see Heretic. It'll challenge your core beliefs, whether you like it or not. This worth noting pick has an abduction and a creepy basement too. It's a weird one, but a goodie. Worth noting is Dead Male. It was released on April 18th, 2025, and is streaming exclusively on Shudder. It's directed and written by Joe DeBoer and Kyle McConaghy. Dead Male tells the true story of a bloody letter that arrived at a post office in the mid-1980s and the horrifying events leading up to and resulting from that letter ending up at the dead letter office and in the hands of postal employee Jasper, played by Thomas Boykin. It's a sordid story unlike any other, involving a homeless facility, a visible man sculpture, a musical keyboard, a length of chain, a gallon of ice cream, and one bloody letter. If you're a fan of low-budget crime stories with hints of horror, high suspense, and quirk, then Dead Male is for you. One film that kept coming to mind while watching Dead Male was the Coen brothers' first film, Blood Simple. Like Dead Male, it's a film that feels ambitious, with big ideas that exceed the borders of the budgets. It's also about small crime with devastating consequences. The shock of Dead Male is that this is a true story. The twists and turns Dead Male takes are truly baffling. But because the film is so specifically quirky, involving a plan to make the perfect musical keyboard in terms of tone, pitch, and other sound qualities I don't know the word for, it's one of those plots that is so specific that it has to be true. The film brings to life some wonderfully elaborate, memorable, and strange characters. First and foremost, John Fleck plays one of the more diabolical villains you're going to see this year as Trent, a strange man with an odd appreciation for musical keyboards. The depths and lengths he will go to make the perfect one is downright disturbing. Fleck offers up a career-changing performance in this role, and be sure to be on the lookout for him to play more eccentric and evil characters in the future, I'm sure. The key to the effectiveness of this story of crime, punishment, and keyboards is the fact that everyone involved feels natural, as if these are not actors, but real characters you interact with every day, your next-door neighbor, your mailman. Every performance, save for the diabolical and sometimes over-the-top Trent, is as natural as it can be. From the intense determination of postal detective Jasper, played by Thomas Boykin, to the sincere heroism of postal admin Anne, played by Mickey Jackson, to the desperation of the imprisoned keyboard technician Josh, played by Sterling Macer Jr. This is a film full of actors who are not big names now, but soon will be. The only actor I recognized was Susan Priver, who's a regular in Chad Farron flicks, most recently Unspeakable, Beyond the Walls of Sleep, and she does a solid job here. Now, Dead Male might have a bit of pacing issues. The middle matter goes on a bit long and might be a tad repetitive as it leads up to a very fast yet oh-so-tense climax. Still, this is fantastic indie filmmaking that has that dangerous aura we saw come out of the grindhousey 70s and the indie-filled 90s. Maybe this will spark a new renaissance of memorable low-budget thrillers. I hope so. Whether it is a fluke or a harbinger of a new lo-fi era, Dead Male is one suspenseful and unpredictable ride. As always, feel free to agree, disagree, or how about you play along at home and give me your own picks for your own favorite movies of the year. It's October, so let's talk horror. Come back tomorrow for the next level in the Best in Horror Countdown. Be sure to hit all of those pertinent bells and whistles down below, and you'll never miss a post. Happy Halloween, folks.